Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Let me tell y'all something that they don't teach you in civics class. The dirtiest moves, they come dressed in policy. The most dangerous criminals, they wear clean hands. See, this is not about who got the biggest muscles, the biggest guns, and all of that type of stuff. It's about who's got the most patience. Because the moment you try to build something real, something positive for your community, especially if you come from a dirty background, they don't come through the front door like you would expect. They come through your paperwork. See, Joe was in the middle of reviewing contracts for Black Crown Youth Entrepreneurship Incubator when the knock came at the door. It wasn't a loud knock like somebody, you know what I'm saying, is panicking, or urgent knock like they just beating real fast. It was slow and steady. It was three men. They stood outside the glass door. Badges, notepads, short haircuts. It was the feds, y'all. Joe opened the door real slow and cautious because he didn't understand what was going on. He hadn't done anything wrong. So they popped it on him. They said, is your name Mr. McGillicuddy? And he looked at him and said, no. And then the officer said, what's your name, sir? He said, because we got something right here. And then he told him his name. He said, oh, yeah, you've been served. Audit notification, IRS division, Treasury enforcement, all of them coming down. Joe took the thick white envelope. He didn't blink, didn't say a word. They didn't say you're under arrest. They said you're under examination. It's the same type of bullet. It's just a different shape. This bullet don't pierce the skin and cause you to bleed. It pierces your heart, your hopes, your dreams, and causes you to want to give up. See, when they shoot at you from all those different angles, they're molding and shaping you into the image that they want you to be. And if you give in to it, what you had in mind, what you hoped to have, the dreams that you had for the people will fade away. But see, Keely, she scanned that packet, going over it word for word, page for page, looking for anything that she could give him some advice on. She said, this ain't about taxes. This is about disruption. Every donor, every grant, every expense since day one. They want it all in 30 days. They were coming hard, coming fast. They wanted to know everything that Joe was up to. And Trey, you know, he's sitting on the side. He said, man, they trying to drown us in paperwork. Joe looked at him and nodded. You know, he was thinking the same thing. He said, if they can't lock us up, they'll try to freeze us. Stop us dead in our tracks. You know, Miss Renee, always somewhere around, right? She spoke softly. She was sitting over in the corner. She said, you ever seen someone trying to kill a tree by choking the roots? Everyone turned and looked at her. Then she said, they think the branches are what matter, but you kill it from below. Joe folded up the packet. Then we dig deeper roots. Listen to me, y'all. Look, the things that we experience in the criminal world, the things that we go through in the criminal world, it corrupts our roots. It makes us not trusting of each other, right? And look here, whatever's in your roots is going to grow into that tree. So when you try to do other things, right, from that tree, you got to do one thing. You got to realize you got to pull it up by the roots and throw it away, plant new seeds. See, that's what Joe had been trying to do with Black Crown Enterprises. That's what he'd been trying to do with the youth center and all of the other things that he got going. He wants to plant new seeds, grow new roots. What the people that were coming against him didn't understand was that he understood exactly what he was up against. He has grown into that person that sees what's going on, and he wants to make sure that these roots that he's planting, right, are deep. Because what you have to withstand to break away from that criminal world, not just from the people that you came up in the game with, but the people that are legal and legit that are looking at you through a suspicious eye. See, if your roots are not planted deeply, any little wind that blow gonna uproot you. Any little storm that come, the flood is gonna wash you away. Any little fire that gets lit up under you is gonna smoke you out. You gotta be willing to withstand all the things that are gonna come your way. Everything that's gonna come your way. So Joe, in response to all of this thing, he launched the Clean Hands campaign. A radical thing for the hood, a radical thing for people, because it was a radical transparency initiative. Everything has got to be laid out. Every receipt is posted online, every board meeting live streamed, every staff member given financial training. No leaks, no loopholes, nothing that would allow them to integrate some bull crap into it. If you want to be a part of this, you got to be fully transparent, open and honest. He even opened up Black Crown's books to the public. Anybody that wanted to see. Now Keely, she didn't want to do that. She fought him on that. This is too much exposure. Joe just sat there, he shook his head. He said, it's not exposure if it's the truth. See, that's the thing you got to come to understand. If you're telling the truth about what you're doing, it's not just about you following the law and the rules that they got. It's about making sure that you form the connections with the community so they'll trust you. And when somebody comes along, whether it's friend or foe or fed, they'll know already what's going on because you've given them full access. So the campaign that they try to wage against you in the dark, you've already exposed it to the light. And Trey backed him on this. The only thing that can kill a rat is the light. See, because the rats like to move around in the dark. That's how they catch you. Nibble it all on your ear. You don't even know what's going on. You wake up and feel on your ear. You got a piece of your ear gone. They done got that. You go to sleep the next night. They done got on your earlobe. Now that's gone. Before you know it, your whole face is disfigured. Metaphorically speaking. Follow me now. So while Black Crown was opening doors, the enemies were whispering behind closed doors. See, a leaked internal memo from the city council revealed that 3 grant programs that Joe applied for had been disqualified. Without reason. Nobody telling nobody nothing. They just killed it. Now, contact inside the mayor's office sent him a DM. You understand? Y'all didn't think I knew what a DM was, did you? All right, then. Okay, then. They calling it the Clean Hands Doctrine. New policy. If an organization has ties, listen to me now. This is how they want to box you in and stifle your growth and stifle your change. If an organization has ties to past criminal activity, even if it's indirect, they cannot receive public funds. Joe stared at the screen, trying to figure this out. Now he knew that they were trying to counter him by writing laws about him. Keely, she had to read it twice. Not just you, she trying to make him understand. They writing laws for anyone that look like you, build like you, or come from where you come from. Anybody that you're inspiring to walk away, they're closing the door on that opportunity for you to receive any public funds to do it, but not private. But they understand how the game is played. See, public funds help you get going. You know, it gets people to believe in what you're saying. So they understood what they were doing. So Joe, you know, he reached out to his lawyer, Isaac Clay, his civil rights attorney. They met at the dine off Crump. You know, Isaac, he's sitting there, sipping on that coffee, reading the memo. This ain't new, he said. This is what they did in the 60s. When black banks started getting traction, they changed the rules. So Joe asked me, so how do we beat it? Isaac looked him dead in the eyes. didn't even blink. We don't beat it. We document it. Every call, every denial, every closed door. We build the case, brick by brick. And then we walk it into a courtroom so loud, they gotta hear it in D.C. You gotta play the long game, y'all. You gotta be patient in your movement in this thing. And Joe looking at him said, how long will that take? Isaac leaned back and looked at him. Old school, you know what I'm saying? He said, as long as it takes. As long as it needs to take. We can't be in no rush. That's what they want. You rush, you fumble the ball. Let the quarterback firmly stick that ball in your gut. You wrap your arms around it and you move. And you practice that enough before you know it, you don't realize that you're being methodical, right? The speed will come in the process. Something you got to learn to understand. Now, not everyone in black crime was built for the long war. Nah. One by one, certain people on the staff, they started disappearing because they started to lose hope. One of the former moles, Barry, he tried to leak some financial data to a local reporter. But the story was so full of holes, it got buried before it saw daylight. Another mentor took a consulting gig with the private security firm, the same one pushing to patrol South Memphis schools. Even Bishop, come on now, even Bishop started pulling back. He said, I'm with you, but I got my church to think about. My congregation, they done got scared. See, that's what happens when people cry out for change, and then when change comes, they can't deal with the things that are happening. Say, wait a minute, this ain't nothing new. Go back to the Bible when Moses freed the slaves. He go up into the mountaintop to talk to God, and while he's gone, they down there building fake idols and dancing and all kinds of things. They lost patience. And ain't nothing changed today. We constantly losing patience and giving up on those individuals that say, let's change it. You got to understand something. The way the system is set up against some of us, we don't want to take the time and go through what it needs to be to change it. It's not that the system is resistant to the change. The people that might be in charge of the system at any particular time, they're the ones against the change because they are eating from the trough. How would you feel if you had somebody come and try to take some food out your mouth? You would resist it. But see, what you got to do is learn it's in your delivery. You got to find a better way to deliver. So Joe didn't argue with Bishop or any other people. He just wrote the names on the whiteboard in 2 columns. Listen to me. With me or against me. And in one box in the middle is the people that were watching. He understood that. He understood all of that. So now, Joe knew if he didn't shift the board, he was finna get checkmated. It's coming. The moves are being made. So he went underground, not in hiding, don't get it twisted, but in strategy. He started running youth programs out of backyards and basements. Always appeal to the people, y'all. He shifted his funding to crypto base. Pissed them off right there. Can't track all of that. Then he launched Black Crown on the Move. It was a mobile mentorship van disguised as a food truck. Come on now. Taking care of the business. Trey drove it. And Miss Renee, she stocked it with, donated supplies and all this and that. And Keely, she live streamed every drop of it. Everything that was going on. We don't just survive, Joe said on camera. We mutate. Y'all know what mutating is, don't you? Huh? Talk to me. Let me know what you think about it. Now, one night, Tank, he showed up at the headquarters. Not dressed in a designer suit. Nothing flashy, no chain, nothing like that. Just jeans, thermal, and eyes look older than he did last year. He wore out, y'all. See, this is what'll happen to you when you you switch sides and thinking that, well, I need to just survive the game and get in line with the individuals that think like me. But what you don't understand is when you pick a side, pick that side and stay with that side, come hell or high water. Because when you jump ship and get on the other side, they look at you through cross eyes. They don't know where you're at. They'll use you and abuse you, but they looking at you like you crazy. Joe didn't think that he'd see him again. Tank looked at him and smiled. He said, man, I didn't think I'd see you either. And Joe waited and just stared at him. Neither one of them saying anything for a couple of awkward seconds, you understand? Then Tank, he finally said, look, they came to me, offered cash to testify, said they could tie you to some laundering I did back in 19. Told me I'd be a hero whistleblower. Joe didn't flinch. He just looked at him. He said, you do it? Tank shook his head. He told him, he said, I may be dirty, but I don't turn on the sword that raised me. Y'all listen to what I'm saying now. Joe looked at him and nodded. You gonna win this, Tank said, but you're gonna lose a piece of yourself doing it. And Joe whispered back to him, I already have. See, the things that he was being, it's kind of like you're going through a transformation. When you go through that whole process, things about you change. And what you got to understand is this. It's like a cleansing, a washing from the inside out. The things you used to think was right but were wrong, all of that got to be purged out of you. The people that you grew up with, the people that you thought you could trust, that you were doing all the right things change with them, and things gonna change with you, and it changes something about you. And a part of you that you don't need anymore dies away. That corrupt side, it's a cancer. And when you stop thinking that way, you stop feeding that cancer. Listen to what I just said now. When you stop thinking crooked about the world, about the life, about you, about the Most High, it's a part of you that dies. And that part of you that dies was sick anyway. It was sick. Now then, check this out. Then the biggest blow came. It ain't, the biggest blow is here. Joe woke up to see Black Crown's bank accounts had been frozen. They messing with the money. All of them. Even the staff payroll reserves. Here's the reason. Ongoing federal audit. They weren't saying he did anything wrong. They were saying they were investigating if he might have fishing expedition. That was enough to starve the organization. They got him in the chokehold, got him in the headlock. And that's exactly what they wanted. The people, their response was like, come on now. Now what happened next? Joe didn't plan it. He didn't plan it at all. The streets did. Hundreds and hundreds of people showed up at City Hall. No signs, no slogan, just silence, dressed in black, holding envelopes marked clean hands. Inside every one of them envelopes was a copy of their donation receipts, a letter of support, a handwritten note about how Black Crown had changed their life. Photos of sons, cousins, brothers, people that had been saved from gang life, all of it. It went viral within hours. Joe didn't even speak at the protest. He stood at the back crying, tears rolling down his face. Not because he was scared, but because he had just realized in that moment they couldn't kill this even if they killed him. All of that came to him in those moments. The walls are closing in, but the people, they breaking windows just to let the light in. This war ain't over, but the enemy just made one mistake. They reminded Joe what side he's fighting for. And if you want to know how this thing end up, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode. I know you ain't finna stop. I know you want to hear how this thing turn out. So check me out in the next episode. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.